Well, here we are, first morning of market fair, and people are just starting to stir in the campsite. And I'm up here in the cove. This is my camp and my neighbors. It's a more kind of sheltered area in the woods. See, I've got the fire on, kettle's on. Pretty soon we'll be having some tea and we'll be ready to start our day. But it's beautiful. What a gorgeous sunrise coming up through those trees. Well, here we are in the main commercial thoroughfare of Market Fair. As you can see, things are bustling. So let's look around and see what we've got for vendors. I'm here with Chuck Edwards, and Chuck is a master rifle builder, and he just makes some beautiful stuff. And Chuck, why don't you tell us about that really nice rifle you got right there?
Well, this here is a custom built rifle that I done commissioned for a customer. It's an early Virginian iron mounted rifle. I forged and made all the hardware for the rifle. The only thing I didn't make is the lock and the barrel. It's one of Chambers' English round face locks with the rice barrel. I think the barrel is a 46 inch, no, it's 48 inch 54, very light barrel.
It's a beautiful gun, and you made that for Jason Gatliff, right?
Yes, sir.
The publisher of Muzzleloader magazine.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Well, right in front of Captain Wart's store is the headquarters tent, where the volunteers of the Friends of Fort Frederick are ready and willing to help anybody who needs to be assisted. Let's stop in and say hi to them next year. Well, I'm here at the corner of Governor Sharp Road and Fort Frederick Road, which of course Fort Frederick Road's a real one, but Governor Sharp Road is this. This is a temporary road lined with Sutlers, and this is one of the main Sutler areas. It actually goes pretty far around to that tree line over there, and then it's on the other side of Fort Frederick Road. There are basically two loops of Sutlers here, and if you can't find what you need for the 18th century here, well, you're never going to find it. I'm here with Daryl from Leather from the Past, and Daryl makes some absolutely beautiful stuff. Bags and canteens, and in fact, I just bought a canteen, very similar to this, a little bit bigger. It's hanging around my shoulder right now. But Daryl, why don't you tell us a little bit about this bag? Tell us about the work you do.
These are just early shot bags. Most of your people today, they want bigger bags and everything, but I try to keep everything as period as I can. So the size of the bags are a lot smaller, just simple in design. There's no gusset to it, just a simple welt. They're not lined or anything. Just keep the plastic down. Just one single pocket. They're not lined with anything. On the flap itself, I double the leather over, so you got the leather, smooth leather on both sides, and just a simple iron buckle.
That's a nice bag. And I see you do some nice tool work here too.
That's an early Virginia style bag. The seam is on the outside where these are turned. And we have the layman style bag that everybody is raving about.
That seems to be the current thing, huh?
Yeah, so I have it in a shoulder, and I also have it in a belt pouch, which was the original, was in a belt pouch.
Well, that is really good work, and thanks a lot for showing it to us.
Thank you.
One of my favorite things to do at the market fair is to go people watching. And you can see all sorts. It's a wide variety of 18th century types, from frontiersmen to high society. And I'll be honest with you, I never get tired of watching the stream of humanity come by at an event like this. You just get to see so many interesting characters and so many great representations. We'll see some more later on. I'm over here with Bruce Graham of Gossville Shoes. And Bruce, why don't you show us what you do?
Well, we make handmade shoes, from modern shoes with historic uppers historically correct shoes with every stitch being colonially correct. These are made using factory methods. These are made one stitch at a time.
They do beautiful work.
Thank you.
Well, I'm here at Sampson's Historical with Abby Sampson, and you might recall in last year's video we gave you a look at their shop where they can accoutre colonial men and women with everything they need, from hats to shoes. But they've started a new venture this year, which is a magazine, Reliving History. And Abby, why don't you tell us about it?
Well, it started a little over a year ago. I wrote a research paper on clay pipes, and we really saw how people took that, and people that I didn't even know were sharing it, and it really changed the conversation in the historical regard to how people were viewing pipes. And we decided that we could do that. We could make a difference in the historical community and really share information that people wanted and didn't necessarily know they wanted until they had the opportunity to know it. And so we came up with Reliving History, and what it is a magazine filled with researched articles over a variety of 18th century topics, and they do date between 1750 all the way through the Revolution. There is a very strong focus around the Revolution in that time period, and so we have a variety of articles with original paintings. This one is a view of Bedlam, and it talks about the rise of mental institutions and how they were started and eventually used even as tourism opportunities in the colonial era. And what we've really ventured to do with this is share those little pieces of history that not everybody knows about. So take a look. Really hope you guys like it.
Thanks. Well, it's the second morning of Market Fair, Friday morning. And it's raining lightly now. It's been raining since about 2 in the morning, and sometimes pretty hard. But snug in bed, who cares, right? But a lot of rain has fallen. So as you can see, my fire pit's a foot bath, which is why on a day like this you appreciate having a charcoal brazier. But we'll get ready for the day. And it'll be fun regardless. So here's my home sweet home, and everything is snug and dry. That's all that really counts. I'll get dressed and head up to the fort. Here at Kurt's Mountain Forge, we've got some great little braziers here. And I'll tell you what, this week, that big rain that flooded out my fire pit, I'd be lost without a good brazier. So if you need one, this is a great place for them. The claysmith's booth, and of course he's a master gunsmith at Williamsburg, Colonial Williamsburg. You got some beautiful Fowlers and rifles here. One of the things that Clay is known for are the painted Indian trade guns. You can see an example of that right here. One of the great things about Market Fair is that you get the opportunity to watch craftsmen who portray the 18th century actually working at their craft. So here we've got one of several blacksmiths who was at this year's Market Fair, and he's doing a little bit of work. What are you making?
I am making some wing nuts. Here's an example of one. Just forged out a little while ago. Still a little warm. Make these for a friend of mine who does woodworking. Woodworking is not a specialty of mine. So he helped me build my bellows and forge here. So in trade, I'm doing these wing nuts for him. He'll use them in his projects.
And here are a few more of the interesting people that you run into at Market Fair. Like I say, I never get tired of meeting these characters. Oh, we're here with James Tomasek, and he is building a basket. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, that's correct.
And what are you using? Are those oak splints?
No, this is called reed, and reed comes from a plant called rattan, which caning. Caning is on the exterior of the plant, the hard outer coat, and the reed comes from the inside of the plant. And it is grown and harvested for basket making and building furniture and such. And of course, it is an imported product today and would have been imported during the colonial period into the as the ships like whaling ships and other trade ships came into the ports. But in the backwoods or back country, hardwoods like white oak or the black ash tree would be used.
I'm here with Robert Van Leer. He's a custom gun maker. And Robert fills, I think, a niche that's very important in our hobby. And he specializes in military muskets, authentic handmade military muskets. And Robert, why don't you tell us about your work?
Okay. I'm 64. I started doing reenacting when I was 25. And back in those days, the only muskets that were available for this in the Revolutionary War were either the Japanese brown bass or the Pottery Italian bass, and the same thing with the Charleville. They both came. There were some made in Japan and some made in Italy, and I just realizing the American Army had such a hodgepodge of weapons, I wanted a committee of safety musket. And when I realized there was none to be found, I made one. And actually what happened was I had so much fun doing that, I made a second one. My wife says, "How many of these do we have to have?" So then I realized it. So then somebody else said, through the grapevine, Rob Van Leer's making these committee of safeties, and somebody went and bought one, and that's how my business kind of took off. If you look at this particular gun here, which is kind of my display pieces. This is a Virginia Committee of Safety done in curly oak, and I did that just for the fun of it, and to point out to people that the Americans used every kind of piece of wood they had, and to say I can actually be historically correct on this. Supposedly there is a Maryland Committee of Safety musket that was done in curly oak. But if you look at this lock is actually a Pottery Italian Charleville lock that I had to weld the nose out to here because the nose is real stubby, change the cock, because this flat cock and flat plate was typical of a Virginia Committee of Safety musket. And since I had no way of building one, I had to alter one that I could get my hands on. And so I have a lot of gooseneck locks. Most of the Committee of Safeties were gooseneck locks similar to the brown bass. As the Maryland one was here. I also do officers' fusils, and I have fun doing those. Here's one that I've done in silver with kind of a really cool bayonet. It's done, and it's got some nice hardware on it. I don't do a lot of these. I do mostly Committee of Safeties.
Well, you do beautiful work, and I think it's an important niche to fill, too. So thanks a lot for sharing it with us.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good, real good. Hi, Mac McKevely. I represent the 78th Highlanders, Scottish Regiment.
Why don't you tell me about some of your armament?
This is a dirk. This is, my family would have gave me that. This is a Murloc. You notice that there's no wood. Mm-hmm. Okay, wood was very scarce in Scotland. And the other thing would be the broadsword, which was a military grade. And as you can see, these arrows are actually broadheads for arrows, celebrating the British victory against the French in the War of the Roses. They were actually arrowheads.
I'll get some beautiful stoneware by Henderson and Garland. And if you want your little brown jug, this would be the place to come to get it. You know, so many people think of these 18th century events and rendezvous as just being for the guys, but I'm here to tell you that there is a ton of stuff for women at this event. And you can see, this is just one example of many, many shops here that are really oriented towards the ladies. I'm here at Common Ground Pottery with Amanda Lips. And Amanda, why don't you tell us about that interesting piece you've got in your hands right now?
All right, this is a posset cup, and I include the recipe inside from Hannah Glass.
And what is posset?
Posset is a hot drink made with wine, sugar, and eggs, beaten and consumed hot. And it has several handles because you would pass this from one person to another. And the original was made in the late 1600s in Rotham, England.
And now is that made on a potter's wheel? You turn that on a wheel?
It is made on a potter's wheel, and then the handles are made separately and applied. And the slip, the yellowish color there is slip that's applied in a design. And then it's glazed and fired.
Well, that's beautiful work.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm at Windsor Chairs and Joinery, and I love Windsor chairs. And as you can see, they make some gorgeous ones. Well, I'm going to close off with more of the faces of Market Fair. Of course, there are a lot of things at Market Fair. You know, shopping, commerce is the lifeblood of this event. But I have to say that when everything is all over, I don't think about the things I bought or the goods that I've seen. I think about the people that I've met. And the people of Market Fair really do make it special. So we'll just close off with a little look at a few more of those special people. And hopefully I'll see you here at Market Fair next year.